What's up, everybody? This is BakaBites. I'm Frankfurter, that is Magically Average, and today we are giving our opinions on the summer season, just the first episodes, though. So, between the two of us, we've watched a ton of shows. We are going to hop into them. You said you have 17, I think, somewhere around there,
Yeah,
16, 17,
16, 17, somewhere there. I thought I did
somewhere there.
really well. I was impressed with
you,
myself.
to be fair, that is a lot. That is a lot for you. Like, that is a lot.
Watch your tone.
I'm just okay. Anyways, I have 28, so I'm going to, which is in an ungodly amount, which I would not recommend anybody watch that many. Let alone you don't need to. And we're gonna get into why you don't need to because we are gonna start from the worst shows to the best shows that we've watched this season thus far, based on episode ones. I've watched a couple shows through to episode two, but I will take those like I wrote my notes down purely from episode one, so none of those feelings have kind of been absorbed into
Mm,
my ratings.
okay,
So,
I believe you.
without further ado, I'm gonna start with my fives. First and foremost, the villager of level 999. I gave a five. Said overpowered pro tag with that has no real ambition other than not standing out. Eh, not gonna watch it unless it gets like a dub and I can just put it on in the background. Um, Another 5 out of 10. I also realized that we did not go through our rubric. If you did not listen to our last episode where we gave our rankings for the spring season, 1 through 4 is just an assortment version of bad. 5 is completely average. 6 is fine. 7 is good. 8 is great. 9 is excellent. And 10 is perfect. And then, you can have a point 0.5 in between there, whether it's just like on the cusp or not, but they just, it is what it is. So that's kind of where we're at. 5 is just completely like mediocre, just it is what it is. Uh from overshowered to overpowered, second reincarnation of a talentless sage. Um I give this a 5. I thought this was an odd one because it's an isekai that spends the entire first episode focusing on the main character as an old man before they reincarnate as like a kid. So it kind of gives you like the background of who he was before they go into the isekai, the new body, will you? But that being said, nothing really stood out here in the first episode that wanted me to return. Even if there's a dub, I'm not returning to this one. This was not very good. Uh, Next, my last 5 out of 10, I have World's Strongest Rearguard. I said very heavy world building to the point that it's off putting, as it doesn't stand out that much from other worlds in the isekai genre. So it's like they did a lot of world building, but nothing was like stood out. So it's just like, why did you put so much attention to like these details that are very bland?
Mhm.
They do change a few like various things like in the fantasy genre, like the appearance of different demi-humans. But other than that, it's just really bland. I'm not gonna watch this. Probably won't watch it even if it gets a dub. And that's it for my fives. I want to know when you're going to pop in here as to like what your lowest score is.
4.5.
Oh shit. So okay. Yeah, why don't you get into that then real quick?
There's not much to say. I watched Darasan of Raiwa, or
Hmm.
Reiwa, however you
Yeah.
pronounce it. Um, I did not get the warnings heading in of just very much blatant nudity, like full on. Uh, so I was quite taken aback by that. Um, no, it's weird because it's a series based on a true folk tale, and I was like, "Oh, all of the background is really interesting. Learning about this small village and the evolution of this god that inhabited this mountain for some time, and then how they became the god that they are now." And then obviously the twist on it is these two little kids who are I I don't know. There's too much to talk about it. I'm gonna keep it short. But basically, giant snake lady. Two kids are not afraid of her, and they switch between dumb present day bullshit and very like raunchy esque type like behavior to here's the historical background of this tale and where this god came
Yeah.
from. And I'm like, wow, if you just focused on the latter, this would be kind of interesting. and less so on the giant snake titties. That somehow their mom has the same size bra for them to be like, "You're too nude. Please wear this." And I'm like, "This snake woman is enormous. How is your mom's bra gonna? Oh, look at that. It fits him. Okay."
Oh
It was
boy.
just, it was bad. It was not good. Stay away
Fair
from
enough.
it. um,
Any fives?
I have one 5.5. I'm sure you'll be surprised, and many people will be, and it's probably going to be one of the few 5.5s that I'll watch all the way through. I just genuinely didn't know how to feel about it. My 5.5 was Chainsmoker Cat. Like,
Oh, okay. To be fair, like I won't say that I'm like terribly much higher than yours. I'm at a 7 on this one.
it's, we put 5 as completely average, not inherently bad, but not good. That's
Yeah.
how I categorize this. Like, it's just, it gets the shock and awe, and that's kind of its only pull right now. Again, granted, we're watching episode ones. You can freak out all you want. This is just first impression. Okay, I'm sure it'll get. It can't get any worse. I was gonna say I'm sure it'll get better. But I'm not confident in that statement. I think I'll just say it can't get worse. I just, like, I don't know. Nothing really made me want to keep watching it. I'm thoroughly impressed by the animation. I like the intro. Definitely harkens back to the Chainsaw Man intro from season
Yeah.
1, which I can appreciate. I like when shows do that, like all the different cult classic references. Very cool. But other than that, I'm like, all she does is smoke and pop her yitties out every now and again. And that's all the first episode was. Like nothing else happened. It's just it's just the shock and awe factor.
We got some mild, and I say this very generously, mild side character introductions, but that's about it.
Yeah, and
Yeah, I
that's where I'm like, I know it's gonna get better.
yeah.
They make reference to a bunch of different characters in the intro, and I get that there's gonna be more to it. It's the first episode. I understand. All right, again, shout and scream all you want. This is first episode, first impression. That's why I said
That's fine.
it can't get any worse. I just don't have confidence to say like it'll get better. I can see it maybe getting up to a 7, but that being quite honestly like its highest. I imagine this will end at like a 6 or a 6.5 for me. I just don't
Yeah.
see a good appeal behind it other than
I gave it a 7. My notes here were
Jackass
beautifully
the anime.
discussed. Yeah, it's beautifully disgusting that had some comedy bits that got a few laughs from me. Like it was like the animation definitely bumps it up to a 7 from like a 6, but like I don't see it going over a 7.5 at highest, maybe an 8 since 7 was that what I gave it now.
Yeah.
I don't see it moving up more than a point. I don't see it moving down more than 2 points. So, yeah, no, Chainsmoker Cat, different opinions, but that's fine. Um I'm in sixes, and I'm just gonna start before you because I've got a lot of sixes here.
Go for it. You
And if
watched a lot of
you,
hot garbage.
yes, I did. And if you've got one in here, just stop and we can discuss. The Frontier Lord begins with 0 subjects. I gave it a 6 out of 10. Said, dude kills monsters, gets the village baddie as a wife. And this is the type of non isekai, but feels like it's slop that I enjoy. If this gets a dub, I will definitely be watching it. So, yeah. Like, it's not bad, but it's not great. Then I've got Heroine, Saint. No, I'm an all works maid and proud of it. I gave this a 6. I said the first 5 minutes was not great, but once it finally focused on the characters, it became entertaining. Cute little slice of life that is also technically an isekai, which I was unaware of. If this gets a dub, I will continue it. I actually like it was enjoyable, but like they did a weird thing where they started after she had been hired and it just gave a snippet of life for this like girl that basically employed her. Like the parents are nowhere to be seen. It's just this maid and this one girl. And so it was fine. Like it just it started out really clumsily where it's like the girl has friends over and the friends are all impressed and then the friends leave and they're like the girl just breaks character of being a proper young lady and it's just like it was so much fun. Oh my god, oh my god. And the maid's like, "Hey, you need to stop that. You need to be proper." And then it goes into the backstory of the maid and why she's there and what she's doing. So It was fine. It wasn't great. It wasn't good. It wasn't bad. It was fine. Next, Skeleton Knight in Another World season 2. I watched this one at the Crunchyroll premieres night. I said fun start to the season, and it looks like some more senseless shenanigans will ensue. That's basically it. Like
Yeah,
there's not much more that like this season alone or the first season alone was a solid 6 out of 10 to begin with. So like I wasn't really going to see this jump any higher than that.
I gave it. This was my only in 6.5 out there, or any anime in the 6 category. I gave it a 6.5, just
Okay.
because I for an isekai, I think it's fun. I think it's a little different. I think the humor is at least there. The running gags are, you know,
Gagging.
they serve a purpose. Yeah, but in terms of a first episode, it was nice though. At least it felt like we just kind of left off where we ended. It didn't need this like big build up and then have like, now we're finally getting into season 2. It was like, no, we're into season 2. Let's just get this rolling. But it's not anything, you know, that transformative, we'll say, but it's still fun. This is like one of the few anime in my current watch list, because I will say most, if not all of these, I will continue, other than Darasan. Um, but this is like the one where I can really turn my brain off and just not focus on it and enjoy it at least. You, on the other hand, have to fucking drool just to stay alive while watching some of these. I
Yeah, you're
I
not wrong.
do not know how you do it. I want to study your brain at some point in time. Like, I'm going to
I
donate your brain to science myself
there
against your
were there
will.
was there was a video on TikTok that I think I may have sent you like months ago, and it's just like this is what my brain sounds like when listening to music, and it's just like the most popular clippets of like songs, and it's just like 2 seconds and then
Yep,
on to the next one,
rapid
2 seconds
pace.
on to the next one. I'm like, that is a good visualization or audio. Eh, sure. Like
Okay.
what is going on in my brain.
I
Um, but
I
yeah,
I want
no,
them
this
to I want scientists to hook your brain up to like electrical nodes, and it'll be like, see what happens when we play anything of intelligence in front of him, documentaries, anything like that. It's just flat lines, and then it's like, now let's play sloppy bullshit, and it's just some trash anime, and it's just like all the signals are firing off at a million miles an hour. It's like,
neurons are
see,
just
this is the brain of an anime nerd who only likes to indulge himself in pure slop.
garbage.
Yeah, trash. He loves trash.
Yeah. Anywho, next up on my 6 out of 10s, I
Do
became
you have more
I
sixes?
became a legend after. Dude, I've got one, two, three, four,
Uh,
5 more 6s.
oh my god, you have 5 more?
Yeah,
Gonna be
I
here
became a
forever.
legend after my 10-year-long stand. I said that it's shaping up to be a cozy adventure after the Demon King is dead. We'll look for the dub instead of the sub going forward. I actually enjoyed this one. Like legitimately, this one is kind of like it's just gonna be a cozy adventure after the fact because it's like this dude, this dude and two other heroes were basically in the dungeon taking on the Demon Lord. The Demon Lord like retreated after getting injured, and then like thousands upon thousands of demons started like pouring through this tunnel that they were in. So one dude decides, I'm just gonna last stand this. You two go back to your families. I'm single, doesn't matter. Let me do my thing. Learns a skill of like basically draining the life. Like he can learn skills if it's been done to him.
Damn.
And like a big demon started draining his life and like just basically touch life, and he was like, "Cool, now I know how to do this," and just started doing it to everybody, so he didn't have to sleep, didn't have to eat, and did a last stand for 10 years. Does
Kazuma.
that to the demon does that to the demon lord, and then because he took so much life force from the demon lord, becomes like a teenager again, like teenager looking. So like when he comes back to town, like they erect a statue of his like adult self, and
Oh,
like the
we
two
we
heroes
read
that
this
were
synopsis. I remember
Yeah,
this
the 2
one.
heroes that were
Yeah.
with him, like, instantly knew who he was, basically give him a new ID and just like, "Hey, just go on, like, cozy adventures, just
Yeah, he
do
starts
your thing,
over,
just have
right?
fun."
Yeah.
Yeah, he
He
starts
starts like
over, but
as
he
an
he
F
doesn't
rank or whatever.
Right, but he's not taking it seriously. He's just
Yeah,
having
yeah,
kind of fun with it
yeah.
and teaching people along the way. So, like,
Yeah.
that's why I say it's like this is gonna be like a cozy adventure that I kind of enjoyed. I'm hoping this gets a dub because I did enjoy this one.
You s
But as in terms of like reviewing it, it is by all standards fine.
when you said drain life, it
So,
immediately reminded me of the Konosuba moment where she's like, "Will you let me suck it?" And she's like, "Absolutely."
absolutely,
Love that. That
yeah.
one is I will say that one
Next,
doesn't sound that bad.
yeah, no,
That's
that one actually was not bad. Uh, Next I've got From Old Country Bumpkin to Master Swordsman Season 2. Gave it a 6.5. I said everybody is back and eager to get a piece of the Old Country Bumpkin as ever. Like if you watch Season 1, you know what you're
damn.
getting yourself into for Season 2. So yeah, I mean to be fair, a majority of the people in this show are of legal age, like 20 or above.
I like how you have to
So like it's
specify that.
not that bad,
No, no,
but
no,
like
yeah, I
he's
gotcha.
still in his 40s, and it's just like, "Oh, this is kinda
Hey,
awkward," but whatever.
some people like mature. Some people like it mature. Anyway.
Anywho, next 6.5, The Exiled Heavy Knight knows how to game the system. Again, I watched this at the Crunchyroll premieres night. I
Is this
said, Go
Yeah, I was
Hands
gonna say
goes
this is the
hard,"
Go
but
Hands. Yeah.
yeah, Go Hands goes hard, but standard first episode for an isekai. I am
I
curious to see what happens in episode 2. Like, I'll probably give it 1 more,
yeah.
but,
I saw
yeah, it's if you
a lot of people freaking out over the Go Hands stuff.
yeah, a lot of people like I saw one content creator came across and was just like, "Why didn't anybody tell me about this and how peak this would be?" And I'm just like, "It's just animation." And I commented on it, I was like, "Hey, listen, if you like Gohan's is very distinct. If you like this animation style,
Yeah.
watch their other shows. I can't attest for the quality that they are like all the way through, but at least that first episode were very impressive." So
Yeah.
and they were like, "No, absolutely. I'm going to go check them out."
I was
So
like, Go
which
Hands.
I recommended the Masterful Cat is Depressed again today,
Yep.
and then whatever the Maria one was with all the girls just fucking killing.
Is it Lily something?
Yeah, Lily Maria, yeah, something like that.
Can't
Whatever
remember.
it is, I
Well,
can't remember the title of
they
it.
also did it's funny too because they're all over the place, right? Like I remember that we applauded Mappa for finally doing an isekai.
Yeah,
But
which is still great. I still love that show.
Gohan's has done like adventure, they've done slice of life, they've done kind of the whole thing, but they still implement that same level of animation quality with like hair flowing like
Yeah,
crazy, weird camera shots. I remember first episode for the girl I like forgot her glasses. There's like that weird shot of like the main character walking and it's at like this like down up angle of him walking through like the halls and then it like
yeah, yeah.
snaps around. I'm just like, "Whoa." But that's just
Did
been
you?
Gohan's like identity forever.
Yeah, did you watch this one or no?
No,
I
this was
assume
just
not, but
this was just one that kept popping up in my feed because everyone's like creaming their pants about Gohan's, and I'm like, have you guys just not heard of them before?
I'll let you know how like episode 2 is because like I could see this one going kind of either way of like being a good like a 7.5 out of 10, but I could also see this being like a
It
5.
it does not give me the impression of something that I would
It
like,
doesn't
but
it kind of gives me like dark edgy teen edgelord, but
yeah.
like we'll
Momentary
see.
Lily, by the way, is the one that we were thinking
Thank
about.
you. I knew there was an M in there. It wasn't Maria, it was momentary.
Lily.
Okay, I've got two more 6.5s here real quick.
Yeah, yeah.
So the next up is Oh Boy, Was I Wrong About Her? I don't know if you watched this one or
No,
not.
no. Go for it.
I said the character personalities are good, but the animation is bland alongside a premise that has been done before. This is the type of junk rom-coms that I really enjoy. I will definitely be watching the rest of this. Um, yeah, basically, boy from the sticks moves out, has a best friend as a kid. That best friend moves away because parents get not displaced, but the parents like move for work. And then as a teenager, going into high school, he goes to Tokyo and
Mhm.
meets up with this old friend of his. They just so happen to be in the same class, sitting next to each other. But he is not a he. It is actually like the best friend is a she, and they kind of just pick up right where they left off. And it's cute. I enjoyed it. So yeah, I'll be watching more of it. And then last one in the sixes, I've got Black Torch.
I had this even when we were previewing the season. I was on like the no, I'm good. I'm fine.
Yeah, I said I was gonna watch the dub for it. The dub is available, so I am gonna watch it. My notes here are this is what Togen Anki wishes it was, but that isn't too much to sneeze at. The pretty animation with good character models behind a fine story. Like it's just fine.
It's like it's so weird that a lot of the heavily marketed anime over the last like year, there's been these really random ones where you're like, huh.
Why?
Well, they just like there's so much time and investment into them, and you're like, well, they must be good if they're getting this much
It's a
advertising.
it's a Shonen Jump series, so that's probably why. But
But
like,
I'm talking
yeah,
like giant advertising, billboards, every time I opened up Crunchyroll, Black Torch was like the first one to pop up every time. Like
yeah,
it
you're
was
not
the same
wrong
with
there.
Togen Anki. Like I'm like, what is going on? Yeah,
Fair.
they just come across as very middling, not impressive. Obviously,
It's yeah.
Togenanki got an audience for very obvious reasons. Um, but yeah,
They've
this
got
one,
one character so far that is just like she wears entirely way too tight of clothing, and there are very many hip shots, and like it's just like okay, sure, I get the fucking point.
good gravy.
Um, yeah, I could see this getting up to a 7, but no higher than that, really. Like
Yeah.
that's about it. But I'll watch the dub for it. It's it's entertaining, kind of just junk.
Hmm.
It's junk food. I won't call it slop. It's junk food. So. I'm in my 7s now. I've kinda talked for
Yep.
a while, so if you have any
Yeah.
6s or 7s left,
I'll
let's
I'll
have her.
grab the first two because I don't think you've watched either of them. I gave the first episode of 100 Girlfriends a 7. Uh,
Okay.
First half of the episode, hilarious. The jokes were on point. They did this funny bit where all of the current girlfriend. Well, first off, they had a bit where they played the intro and the god was like, "Wait a minute, hang on, pause. There's like four I don't even recognize." And then there's this narrator voice that's like, yeah, let's go to commercials real quick. Can we go to commercials?" And the god's like, "What are you talking about? What do you mean? Why are we breaking the fourth wall already?" So they're like, "All right, cool. We're off to a really good start. Love the fourth wall breaks." But they had a bit for the first half, which I thought was really funny. You might have seen clips or snippets about Rentaro, the best boy in the world to have ever been born, dressing up as
Okay.
Frieza for a date.
I have not seen this.
Great, so fucking funny. And then like unfortunately we get to the second half, and I say unfortunately because our next girlfriend is not only someone who's in middle school, but it's his cousin. And I'm like, oh, for crying out loud.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. It's well, so there's a moment of like both of the characters, thank God, even after the sparks, you know,
Yeah, the
fly
badump.
or whatever. Yeah, whatever. They're both like, this can't happen. Like, we're not only are we different ages, but we're cousins at the end of the day. This is weird. But then they have this heartwarming moment of like, I'm going to love you like someone, but I'm going to treat you like there was
Family.
boundaries set. There seemed to be
Okay.
at least an acknowledgement of like, I'm going to still treat you like a girlfriend, but I'm not going to like behave or like have you be a girlfriend in that way. I don't know. It was
Yeah.
still very icky. That's why I was like, ugh, why? Um, but there's gonna be more problematic ones later, I think, from what I've heard, and I'm
Oh,
like, oh, for crying out
god.
loud. So yeah, it was kind of unfortunate because I'm like, oh, what a hilarious start to the season. I can't wait to meet them. And then it's like, here's your cousin, and I'm like, oh fuck me, god damn it, like way to ruin the mood. So yeah, I think it's gonna be the same old with this series though. It's still one of the best harems at least, like
Yeah.
because Rentaro is an angel of a human being and can't do anything wrong. Uh so at least you know like he won't let them go too far, thankfully, thank God, except for one that constantly is throwing herself at him, which is the
Oh,
first
boy.
girlfriend that he had. Um but no, it'll be fun, but yeah, it was kind of a kind of an upsetting
Oh
ending to
shit!
that first yeah, basically. The other 7 I have, I don't know if you've watched yet, but it's Jadugar, A Witch in Mongolia.
I did watch this.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Let me
I
see
gave it a
where I had
7.
it. I gave it an 8.
I said it feels like the anime is gonna grow on me. I think this is gonna be one where the first episode didn't really stand out all too much to me. Um, Science Zero is doing a great job of adapting it. It's very much in line with the style of the manga series, so I love that. Um, but like as a whole, it didn't really give me like anything really hopeful for what's to come. More so like
Mhm.
just how they ended it. I'm like, okay, I can see where it's going.
Yeah.
It's
It
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 was but it
really
was fun.
focused on it really focused on the main character a lot and just kinda
Yes.
gave her, like, her background well, not even the full background, but, like,
No.
it gave her situation and just her dealing with her situation and then coming to
You
terms with it.
you feel like you kind of
That's
get yeah, you kind of get thrown in and you
yeah.
with very little information and you have to figure some things out on your own that are somewhat relevant to the current environment and the world that they're living in. So you're like,
Yeah.
okay, I can kind of read between the lines, thankfully. But the very ending scene, I'm like, I actually am not pleased with how it ended. But scenes prior, I'm like, ooh, this is interesting. It was giving me like orb vibes of this might go a very like scientific type of way. Obviously, you hear a witch in
Yeah.
Mongolia, you think like it's gonna be magical. I think my interpretation of it is probably gonna be someone who advances the sciences or starts to break away from the norm because
Or in
one, they're
where we're at right now, woman educated is
right.
they're a witch. It's
Yeah,
just they're yeah.
they can read. Um,
Yeah.
there's a lot of elements to it. But I did write in my notes very boldly that this will likely be a series that jumps up the rankings the most by the end of the season. I anticipate this easily breaching an 8, even close to a 9 by season end. So, but in terms of a first episode, I didn't think it impressed me like some of the other ones we'll talk about later, but it was still good.
For me, I did give it an 8. My notes here were I can appreciate it for what it is, however, it's not my cup of tea. Similar to why
Very much
Orb wasn't
Orb. I was gonna say
my
like it
cup
was
of
almost
tea.
exactly
Yeah.
the same you said for Orb.
Super unique art style. I think Science Seru knocked it out of the park. But on top of it, in a top heavy season, this one is going to go to the wayside for me. I do think like why I gave it an 8 outside of just the animation and unique art style. I was kind of captivated by her, like the main character. Like I think
Mhm,
that they did a very good job writing her character and giving her a personality that kind of goes against the grain in this type of environment.
mhm.
So I really enjoyed it, but at the same time, like not my cup of tea. Like, if you end up loving this season by the end of the, or loving this series by the end of the season, maybe I'll go back to it and we can discuss at another time. But like as of right now, I know it's not my cup of tea. I'm not. I'm just gonna,
Yeah.
for now, it's just gonna be on hold slash drop.
This
So
one will likely be one that I'm gonna rant and rave about in similar fashion to Orb, so I'm sure I'll try to get you to go back and watch it, but
yeah, and
I can appreciate that. I think I gravitate to these so much, like, so much often now. Like,
there's gonna be one then that's on my list that I almost guarantee you have not watched that I'm going to need you to watch it tonight.
I bet I have. I think I know which one you're talking about, and I bet I have.
We'll
Anyway,
see. Uh,
I have one more just flat 7 if you want me to do it real quick.
Sure. I've
I
got
have
2 flat 7s and then a few 7.5s.
I have Draw This Then Die as a 7.
I've got that at an 8.
So I said thoroughly enjoyed this anime. Uh, very surprised by the direction it took by the end of it for an episode 1. I in a good way. I said positive message relayed through a lovable and goofy MC and a dynamic cast of side characters, easily being pushed up to a full watch list for me. I originally had this as a 1 episode. I think this instantaneously became a full watch. I love
Yeah.
the premise. It originally I had read it and by read it I mean the synopsis. and thought of it in a very similar fashion to the mangaka one we had like 2 or 3 seasons ago, where she always falls behind her deadline and she like has somewhat of a love-ish relationship with her editor, I think. I can't remember the series name. It was fine. Basically,
Mangaka's wacky or magical workplace or wacky workplace or whatever the fuck
yeah,
it is.
yep, exactly. I I wanted more out of that series, and I feel like it was just kind of almost like a pseudo office romance slice of life, which I was not very impressed with. And I was like, oh, this one might is probably gonna be the same just based on the premise. Totally different. Totally different, very unique. Absolutely loved it. Again, first episode, extremely positive message, just constantly being thrown out there. The theme of it is very much something that everyone can relate to in some fashion, which I always appreciate in a series. So yeah, this one for sure, full watch list, for full watch now on the
Yeah,
watch list. Uh this is gonna be my I'm hopeful looking through the rest of my series. This will be one of the few series of like, oh, I just need a pick me up. Let me watch something that's fun and goofy. And I'll throw
yeah.
draw this then die on.
For me, my notes here are lots of charm with great characters, music, and animation. This will be a great slice of life for the season. Also, a very fun ending sequence. I absolutely adored the
Yeah.
song for this ending sequence. But yeah, akin to what you were saying, I thought the main character was just a breath of fresh air for kind of what's like a very more serious season. There's a few
Oh yeah.
shows here and there that are pretty goofy, but this was kind of a breath of fresh air for me.
Hmm.
I'm definitely going to be watching it all. I think the twist at the end was very predictable, but at the same time, like still much appreciated
I
the
I
I
saw it
love that
coming.
comedy bit. I loved that comedy
Yeah.
bit where they finally they're like, "Huh?" And it's just like, "Chotomate," and just puts on the mask, puts
It's
on the sunglasses. "It's me, it's the dir"
yeah. I
Dude, that bit was so fucking good. It was so good. You could see it coming from a mile away, but it was still
you
done
yeah.
so well.
Yeah. I was gonna say it's different when you're like you can look at something and be like, I know what's gonna happen. And it happens, but you still laugh because of just
Yeah.
how it's done. Like that speaks to one, the writing, but two, just how they were able to deliver it too. I thought it was very much on point. Comedy was good, but I echo your thoughts on the MC. I think she's definitely a standout for this season. And again, I'm gonna probably gravitate to this one as my I'm having a really tough day. I'm gonna go and get a pick me up from Draw This Then Die because I need something
Yes.
to bring joy into my life.
Fair enough. I'm gonna go back to my sevens real quick here. This one I actually think you will enjoy this one. I do suggest that you watch this, at least for the first episode, just to get your own judgment on it. Hanaori-san still wants to fight in the next life.
Wow.
Now, the premise of it, like where the demon lord reincarnates and the hero reincarnates in the same world, or the demon lord and the hero are in the same world again, just it's been done before, but my notes here are a fun comedy about the reincarnated demon lord and hero living life in peaceful times. This show is slightly unhinged with really funny dialogue and really good character design. Like, I know you're giving me this fucking just kill me now. I think the comedy
Huh?
bits in this show were some of the funniest of the entire season, to the point where I think you would enjoy this one.
Nope.
I truly do. Again, watch the first episode, form your own opinion, but there is a dub. So you could watch it with your wife, see if she likes it. I enjoyed this first episode. It is a 7 at the end of the day because, it's a kind of it's already been done before premise, but it was done very well.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then my last flat 7 is Iron Walk Jean. Um, so my notes here were firstly, didn't know this was from a manga in the 90s. Second, it's a battle of the heirs to Chinese restaurants to prove who is the better cook. The end of episode 1 did give a disclaimer that going forward to like it's going to follow the source material which was made in the 90s and that many scenes to come are going to be considered offensive in modern times. And I'm like, "Huh. Okay,
Oh
wondering
boy.
what that's all about." So I'm gonna watch one more episode to see what it's about. But like,
You
it's
want to see
another
the
like,
offensive stuff?
I just want to
Well,
see
I gotta know what's
what show
offensive.
up. Like, yeah, yeah, I'm curious as to see what is
I
terribly
I'm
offensive here
I'm
that they put a
sure
display.
I'm sure it's a terminology. I can already think of a couple that are not appropriate that were
Either
used.
terminology or just like minor, not minor, but racism because it is like
Just
Japanese in
minor
making
racism.
Chinese food. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see, but I'm gonna
Gee,
watch one more episode. Like this
jeez.
wasn't like it was fine. It wasn't great.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
the main character guy, like there's two main characters, a girl and a guy, the heirs to their respective Chinese restaurants. The girl is a decent character and the guy is just deplorable. It just neither of them really
Classic.
spoke to me. So, but like it was a good first episode. I can't fault it for being, it wasn't like bad. It had me, fully focused the
Mhm.
entire episode through. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna give that a 7.
Yeah.
So yeah. Next up I've got a bunch of 7.5s, and by a bunch I just mean 3. Start with Megalomare Magical Girls Inc. Season 2.
Mhm.
Um, by the way, this most of what we've talked about has been on Crunchyroll. I think there's only been 2 shows, including this one, that have been on Prime.
Chainsmoker
Uh,
Cat's on Netflix, but
Chainsmoker Cat is on Netflix, but from Old Country Bumpkin to Master Swordsman and Megalomare Magical Girls have been on Prime. But
gross.
gave it a 7.5. Really solid pickups. Really solid, picks up where it left off and gives the season direction, all the while giving us new information on pre-existing characters. So I really enjoyed that they gave us new info, while just kind of just keep chug-a-lugging with the story. So enjoyed it. Looking forward to it. It's on Prime. Um, the next 7.5 I have, Grow Up Show Sunflower Circus. Did you watch this one?
No, I didn't get around to it.
Okay. My notes here. Hey, look, there's now an anime about the circus. Real talk, this was a fun first episode that alludes to a lot more to come. I'll be watching the dub for this, but I'm honestly surprised at how much I took to it. Good characters slash personalities, an interesting slash unique premise with a whole lot of heart. Like there was a lot of like heart in this show, and I really appreciated that. I probably should have bumped this up to an 8, but I'm keeping it at a 7.5 right now for that first episode. But I was very surprised as to how much I really enjoyed this one. So, and then my last 7.5 is a show on Netflix called Thunder 3. Um,
Mhm.
I said was honestly ready to write the show off until the last 8 minutes. The shift in tone, setting, and animation was awesome. A very slow start, but it was all to build up our main character and ground them in reality, all to flip it on its head. Literally, this like the art style seems very kiddish, like it's kind of 3D. The high schoolers that they are focusing on, the 3 high schoolers, they're very like short. They're kind of like anime. They look like they should be in middle school, if not younger, but they're teenagers and they're kind of horny. And one of them keeps talking about like, "Am I gonna find panties in the wild here?" Like while they're walking to school, and it's like, "Why would you find panties? Why are you obsessed with panties?" Like, I don't know. And then they just drop the subject, but like it's like these 3 boys who are kind of like obsessed with just like girls and really kind of becoming of themselves, and then the main character who has a younger sister who just is obsessed with him in the sense of like, "I'm your little sister, you are my big brother, you are so cool, I want to be around you at all times even when you're pooping on the toilet."
Oh, mm.
So but like then the last 8 minutes or so of the series, or the first episode, like they ground this character and it's just like, this just doesn't seem very interesting. And then they flip the entire thing on its head, and for the better. Like it's really cool. It's on Netflix. Art style is very awesome, and you'll understand why when you see it. But I'm looking forward to more because like I'm just curious as to what more they can explore here, because I have a feeling that it's not just the what we've seen. So I think
Mm.
there's more to it. So we'll see. Now we are in the eights. I've got 2 solid
Well,
eights before I've got 2 8.5s.
I have 2 7.5s, one of which I know is an 8
Okay,
for you, the other one I'm sure is probably way higher for you.
we'll see.
Um, Clevitus 2 is a 7.5 for me. It's a tamer
Yeah, that's an
start.
8.
I said tamer start. I mean, we knew what we were getting into after the ending of season 1. Uh, I mean, it was fine, right? Like again, sevens in our book are good.
We're good.
Eights are great. I don't think it was a great first episode. I thought it was, but I didn't think it was just a plain old good first episode. It was kind of right in between there. I'm excited to see how this season progresses. As I mentioned, I think during our preview, with the us knowing kind of where the direction of season 2 was going to go, I'm like, oh, this is giving season 2 Mashoko Tensei vibes, which I really enjoyed, even though it was, very much a significant shift in tone from season 1. Nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that, but it definitely didn't give you that massive appeal like the first episode of season 1 for Clevitus did. Albeit that was an extended episode and that was just chock full of insane moments that really, really gripped you from the start. This was definitely a downgrade from that, but not in a bad way. I just didn't feel like it was anything fantastic
It
to write
was
home
a
about, but it was it
it was
was
a good setup.
it was solid. We'll say it was solid.
Yeah, I did
Um,
give it an 8. My notes were very bland. It's just this is going to be a very different season from season 1, but still very enjoyable.
yeah,
I saw this at the Crunchyroll nights. I think I was just more so really excited about it going into it, which is why I gave it an 8. Kind of thinking back on it, it's probably closer to a 7.5, but I'm sticking to my guns at an 8.
that's fair.
But I really like that they they didn't give necessarily a recap, but they didn't just necessarily throw you straight into the mix of it because
Well,
I completely forgot that at the end of season 1 that they're like, "We're going to school."
oh, I
And I'm
didn't.
just like, so the fact that like, yeah, for my dumb brain who, doesn't retain all details,
Mhm.
it was nice that they kind of did like a soft recap and just kind of eased our way into the school, introduced new characters that we're going to see in the future, and just
They
give a little bit of drama so far.
they also did a very strategic thing, which is like the literal first scenes of the episode are of like some moment that clearly is well in the future of the
Yeah.
season, but it kind of sets the tone. It also gives you perspective on like these are the characters you might want to look out for, and then we get introduced to just like a few of them. So you're like, ooh, okay, interesting. But again, it was purely just set up. Nothing of real substance happened. To your point, we got a nice little like refresh from the last season, albeit I did remember what was going to happen. But
Some of us aren't smart like you.
I'm saying I just have the ability to remember things that shouldn't matter realistically. Figure that out. But again, I think I have high hopes for this season. I think it'll be fun.
Yeah.
I think it'll be, albeit again, departure from season 1, but still very enjoyable, very interesting. I mean, the world itself is what captivated me the most in the first season. So I think now building into like all the different nations or empires as well, because we're now into a different empire, will be very satisfying to learn more about. So I'm excited. The other one, I think this is one where I suspect it's going to be very, very high on your list, so we can pause if you want. But I have it at a 7.5. I Want to Love You to Your Dying Day.
Nope, this was an 8.
Okay. Um, I gave it a 7.5. Again, everything that I've watched other than Chainsmoker Cat and the Snake one, Dara-san, uh, they're all good. Like they're all like right around sevens and above. Okay, so I'm gonna keep watching
Yeah.
them. Just because I gave it a 7.5 doesn't mean I don't like it. It is good.
I never claimed you didn't.
I'm not. This is directed to those listening and watching. I always get fearful because the problem is I see all these people hyping up these anime on TikTok and Instagram and whatever, and they're like, this is 10 out of 10. This is 10 out of 10. This is 10 out of 10. I'm like, man, we're throwing 10 out of 10s out like they're like it's going out of style.
No
So I'm
kidding.
trying to be more objective in my reasonings. But I gave it a 7.5. I like the Dark Yuris. I think they're very fun. I think they're very unique. This one especially, the premise is extremely enticing. I I'm I'll say I'm very excited to see where it goes, but nothing in the first episode really gave me the feeling of like, oh my god, this is like a stellar first episode. It kind of put the puzzle pieces out there and said, all right, like now we'll begin. It's like that's fine, right?
Yeah.
Some first episodes they don't even take the puzzle out of the box. Some first episodes they finish the whole fucking thing right in front of you and you don't even have a second to breathe. Okay, so it's a balance. This one's like, all right, here's some snippets. Here's a new character. Here's the setting. Here's the environment. Here's the current situation. And here's where things are probably going to go. And you're like, all right, cool. We're setting the stage. We're getting everything laid out. I'm cool with this. Does this mean that it's a superb, stellar, amazing first episode? No, but it was really good. I don't think it was great by any means, but it was certainly really good, and I'm very much excited to see how it continues. But
Yeah.
I did again temper my expectations with this one. Sometimes Dark Yuris are a swing and a miss. I think this one's certainly going to be one that stands out above the rest, and I am very excited to see how this goes on. I had it as a 3 episode watch. This is a full watch for me now, because I am truly excited on how this story will evolve, and we get to see a little bit more and more of this world.
Yeah, for me, I've got 8 out of 10. Beautiful start to a brutal Yuri series. The first episode is a bit more tame than I thought it'd be, or maybe of what I was remembering. However, it does set a good tone for what's to come.
Hmm.
Because it is pretty bleak. These are
Yeah,
orphan children that are being basically groomed for war, and yeah, it's pretty bleak because sometimes your friends don't come home.
but
So
war
yeah,
against who and for why and how long?
yeah.
Like those are questions to be answered, which is it's good. It's good to leave plenty of mysteries abound.
Indeed, indeed. For me, the next up, because we've gone through my eights, I've just had
Oh,
8.5s and higher now. So
I will give you a heads up. I don't have any series at a 9 or above. Everything is at least an
okay,
8 or an 8.5.
I've got two 9.5s and three nines.
I was trying again. I'm going in. I feel like every season I make the mistake of giving too many things 9s. And then they either stay at a 9 or they go down. And I'm like, hey, this is first episodes. Temper our expectations. Go in there objectively.
Yeah.
Analyze appropriately. Could I be swayed? Sure, but I'm just giving you a warning that as of right now, looking at my list, everything is either an 8 or an 8.5.
So I'm gonna get through one nine that I know for a fact you have not watched, and that is One Piece Heroines.
Yeah.
This was a standalone episode. I said it was an incredible standalone episode that should be watched by all. Like honestly, if you're even remotely in tune with any of the characters for One Piece, nothing to do with any of the story. It's a very standalone story, one episode, 23 minutes,
Hmm.
focuses on Nami and Robin. It's fantastic. I
Who?
think that it should be watched if you're remotely interested in One Piece. I think it's a great piece of animation. It tells an open closed story, and what the story is really great too. So yeah, highly, highly, highly suggest watching it. It's not even like the other One Piece standalone episode, like the fan letter.
Hmm.
That one at least kind of like it did show bits and pieces of the story and
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
of what was going on during one, crucial giant battle.
Yep.
While this is completely removed and just, you know, non-canon whatsoever. But I really thought highly of it, thought that this was an excellent, excellent episode of TV.
Yeah.
So that's
Um,
my one nine that I know for sure you did not watch.
for knowledge, how many do you have remaining? I have 8 anime remaining.
I've got six.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Let
mine
me
was very bottom heavy. Mine was
well,
very a
because
lot of
again, we
sevens, a lot of sixes.
you trudged through the fucking pig slop. For why, I still don't know. But
Yeah,
you and I'm not even gonna give you a hero's welcome for doing so. You're doing this in your own volition. This is your choice. I I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul. If you get that reference, good
and
on you.
don't call me Shirley. Anyways.
Nope, wrong movie.
I know.
I'll at least
Anyways.
go through one that I know you had already said that you hadn't watched. You and I are polar opposites. Season 2, get the first episode in 8. Get to continue where we left off. Our bunch of
Yep.
goofballs are back together. You get to see the slow progression of all these different relationships, friendships continue to build. We get a very cute moment with our our main couple of Tani and Suzuki. Uh, it's just great. I love it.
Yeah.
I think
Um,
this mangaka,
I
if neither of their series wins romance, I think they've gotten all rights to go to the Crunchyroll headquarters and leave a steaming pile of poo on their front porch because between you and I are polar opposites and the Ramparts of Ice, they quite literally have a chokehold on the romance category the entire 2026 because Ramparts of Ice is coming back in the fall. So again, quite literally the entire fiscal year, this one creator has dominated the romance space. So, but this still is going to be easily be at the top of my list in terms of romance. Great rom
yeah.
com, absolutely love it.
Um, for me, the show I'm looking at your list. There's actually two on here that I did not watch, so I'm gonna note you real quick
Oh,
so that you can talk about them. I have them highlighted in your sheet if you're
but
in
these are
there.
my
But
top
goodbye.
ones. No, I don't want to
Those
talk
are the
about
two
them
that I
yet.
have not watched.
I
Okay,
don't
fine,
care.
fine.
I'm
Then we
saving
will
them because
go.
these are my top ones for the season so
Fair enough.
far.
One that is not on your list, which I know you've watched, so you've got to re-add it. Smoking behind the supermarket with you. I did give it a.
I haven't watched
Have
it
you
yet.
watched any of it?
No, it's
Oh,
I've read most of it. Look,
okay,
they
fine.
also did a fucked up thing where they like released all of the little bits and then they're like, all right, and now the season starts. And I'm like, we're not playing this
Yeah,
game, bro. I'm not playing
my
this game with you.
it's a 9 out of 10. I said weird that they released the first half of the season in quote short episodes and then restarted it with season 1. Like season
Yeah.
1 is just the first episode, like the first 2 episodes mushed together. But yeah,
Uh,
regardless, Smoking Behind the Supermarket with You is a standout show of the season. It is wonderful.
yeah.
Seeing these
All of the
characters brought to life and just seeing their just emotions and teasing and playfulness is a lot of fun.
all of the Adele, all the adult romance series
Hello.
are usually ones that stand out above the rest. One, because again, having an adult cast, it makes you kind of can calm your
You
mind
can
and you're not
relate.
like on edge. Well, yeah, that too. You can relate as well. But no, I mean, this was one where as I was reading it, I'm like, oh, if it eventually gets animated, this will easily be like a top romance series. So I'm gonna probably pull a U honestly and just watch it when it airs in full at this point because
Okay.
I know what to expect. There's like a
Yeah.
handful of these types of series that I've read where I'm like, if you ever get animated, I will applaud you from the heavens above for that achievement, but I probably won't even watch you right away. uh
Yeah.
One that sticks out is the teleworking love story one that I
Yeah.
absolutely adore, which I anticipate getting a series, it's anime series at some point. But I put that in the same
One day.
category of yeah, smoking behind the supermarket with you because again, it's exactly what you want in adult romance. It's got
It is the stress reliever of the week is what it
yeah,
is.
certainly. Well, again,
Yeah.
I hold true to the draw this then die being my happy, comforting anime. I look at
Fair enough.
Smoking Behind the Supermarket with You as my like I'm cracking open a cold one and I'm like, hell yeah, brother, life sucks.
Fair enough. Then let's get into the rest of the list. I've got 5 left.
I got
Starting
a
with my
handful.
8.5s.
Yeah, go for it, boy.
We could just do Jobless Reincarnation season 3.
Yep, that's an
My notes
8.5 for
here.
me too.
Oh, hi, Ari or Eris, you dick. Honestly, a good return focusing on the runaway protagonist, but man, is it hard to be happy to see her.
So
Like,
I see. I had a
because
totally
yeah.
different reaction. It's funny that you say that. I had a totally different reaction. I was like, "Hell yeah, Eris is back, and we get to see what she's been up to."
Oh,
Hell to the yeah,
I
because
like I don't get me wrong. It was a great first episode, and what she
oh,
was
I
doing
yeah,
is absolutely like incredible. I think it's great. However, she's still a fucking prick.
I am making no comments on that. I think she had valid reasons to do so. That's just me.
She
Uh,
could have done it a lot better though.
sure, but she's was like what 14 or something. So
Yeah, I
give her a
know.
break. Uh, I will also remind you, because this is my steel trap memory coming back, we did get a like special episode of Eris and Ghislaine
Yep.
post the end of season 1, I want to
Yep.
say,
I believe
um,
that's correct.
which I think timeline-wise actually takes place even after where we have left off in season 3 so far, if I have to wager.
I would have to rewatch it to remember, but
I
fair enough.
believe yeah, if memory serves. Don't know. But
Okay.
regardless, uh, I thought it was a great start. Again, if it throws you right back into it. We're getting the alternate character focus now, which is great because you're not having to like jump right back into Rudius's fucked up situation at home. Which that's a hellscape in itself. So
Yeah.
let's go back and see what Eris has been up to all these years. Love that. And I think it was about
Back to
time that we
you
got
with
an
the weather.
answer. Yeah, basically. But and it's a good tonal shift too from season 2 because season 2 starts with Rudy thinking that he lost everything, going back to
Yeah.
being alone, right? Not having anyone to be there to support him or just to like
Despite the fact that people were there and wanted to support him and be like,
right,
"Join our adventuring group," but
he
he's
was
just
like,
like,
"Nope,
"No, I'm
nope."
gonna throw myself a
He
pity
I
party
mean,
and just not forgive myself."
he reverted back to who he was in his original life, right? Like he became kind of like that sheltered, introverted, isolated type of person, right? So we got to see like a glimpse of that coming back out, and it took a lot for him to break back out of it and become Rudy again, right? Because he kind of went back to who he was before, and he wasn't Rudy,
Yeah.
and now he's back to being Rudy. And then we got to see like obviously the stuff with his father and like how obviously his father's influence kind of seeped into who he is now as a man. And there was a lot. It was a heavy, heavy, heavy season, especially part
It
2.
was.
So like to get right back into that would have been, I think, very jarring to start a season. Starting it off with like, hey, did you forget about Eris, the girl that left Rudy at the end of season 1 and has just been like MIA ever since that special episode aired? Well, here she is, and here's everything that she's been doing and why, right? Because we even in the first episode, you already get to this, you get the idea for like, okay, albeit some people might not agree with what she did, you being one of them.
It's not that
You
I
can
don't agree with
appreciate,
what she did. She could have done it a lot better.
but you can appreciate why she did it and when she did it.
Yes.
And now you get even more substance to that decision in the fact that she's like, I am doing this not only for myself, but for Rudy. Like, I acknowledge the fact that I need to better who I am as a person for the benefit of more than just myself and my
Yeah.
selfishness and my ego, which I'm like, hell yeah, good on you. So I think this is going to be a great season. I'm looking forward to it. I'm again very I'm going to be protecting my heart at all times because last season it broke a couple of times. Uh, uh so I'm going to be
So
very tepid going in at moments because I'm worried that I'm going to keep getting hurt more and more.
yeah, and I've said my piece about episode 1. I've watched the first 3 episodes already. So I'm
Okay,
already fully
so
back
you
into this
have
season.
yeah.
Yeah.
I went
Again,
in
all my notes are based off of episode 1, but I have watched a few more episodes than just episode 1
bias
for a
can
few of
seep in
these.
at any moment, my dude.
I've literally written in my
You've
notes what
tainted yourself.
Okay, Pepper Palpatine.
Do it.
Let's continue. Um, Another 8.5 before I get into my nines, other than smoking behind the supermarket. Young ladies don't play fighting games. This is
This
an
was an
8.5 for me.
this was
My
an 8.
notes very short and simple here. Hilariously funny, and looking forward to seeing more characters enter the fray. I think that for a first episode, it was absolutely fantastic. I thought it was very great, borderline excellent. The comedy in it was really good. I do really appreciate the fact that the fighting games that they're playing, they didn't animate it out and they decided to spend that budget elsewhere. And the fact that they were just like, we are just gonna get gameplay
We're
of
gonna
Street Fighter
license.
6.
Yep.
Yeah, we're gonna license it out and we're just gonna throw that in there to
It's
make our lives a little bit easier.
so
And
good.
I'm honestly grateful for that because I think the fact that they are playing an actual fighting game kind of grounds it a little bit more and makes it more relatable to the fact that it's like you can actually go out and do this in the game that they are playing.
Yep.
So I really appreciated that. I think that this was a stellar first episode. I'm really looking forward to more. I checked today to see if episode 2 was out. Still not out yet.
Damn.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
looking forward to more. I'm not sure when this one airs or what day it airs, but
I
yeah, no.
this has been on my can't wait to get an animated list for quite some time. Ever since I read the first like 3 volumes. It's been like my top pick for please animate this for the love of God. So, I went in absolutely ready to see how they were going to animate this. They did not miss. To your point, I love the fact that they used the actual footage from Street Fighter 6. I think it adds to it. They didn't, like I said, like you said, they didn't try to animate it themselves. They also didn't do the typical anime thing of like making some random game that obviously isn't referencing it, but having to like create all these different characters and things on their own. Like they were like, no, this whole series is about proper young ladies playing fighting games.
Yep.
Like that, we have to just put in gameplay footage. Like there's no way around it. So I really appreciate that. Yeah, but I mean, the things in the manga that stood out to me that were translated over, the comedy, the timing of everything is hilarious. Love the characters and how they're designed too. I think like for if you've seen Rock as a Lady's Modesty, which we harped on as well when it came out, the first episode is almost like a one-to-one formulaically to Rock as a Lady's Modesty. It's like girl who does not belong in this school finds herself in this school for one reason or another. Some of her former life, we'll say, personality comes out in very comedic ways. But she tries to remain as prim and proper as possible. And then the one character that they're like, "Oh, no way. There's no way. Like this is the
Yeah.
icon of the school." Is obviously the one that they're like, "Oh, fuck. You do
Yep.
this?" So, again, very much in
Yeah.
line with Rock as a Lady's Modesty. Both do it extremely well. But no, this has always been at the top of my list. This is by and far one of the series that I am very excited to watch this season because I'm more genuinely curious on how they're going to animate the rest of it. I think if episode 1 set the stage, I'm excited to see how the rest of it plays out. I think it's going to be great. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, there's nothing more to say.
I agree.
It's awesome.
I've got just my top 3 left,
Okay, that means
which
that
you've watched
hang
all
on.
3 of them. So,
Yeah, so I got 1, 2,
you've got
3,
4, 5.
4, 5. Okay, so you suck. I'll talk about the ones that I've rated the highest alongside Jobless Reincarnation because to be fair to you, since I have watched the other 3 that you've watched.
Okay.
So my other 2 that I rated an 8.5, and mind you, I rated this season pretty harshly because it is so stacked top to bottom. Again,
Yeah.
17, we'll say 15 anime that I will be full watching, which is a shit ton for me. But the 2 that really stood out to me the most were one was Goodbye Lara, and the other was The World is Dancing. I'll start with The World is Dancing because this one was kind of easy to go through. It gave
I
instantaneous
tried watching it.
it gave
Um,
instantaneous feeling of like the elusive samurai in purely just the animation style where you have a seemingly innocent looking person who gives off a sense of like they don't really want to be in the position that they're in, right? In the same way like the elusive samurai, like he never wanted to go to war, he never wanted to be like brought into this life of having to fend for himself and defend others, right? But because of his skill set, he was sought after and was kind of thrust into it and now
yeah.
has adapted fully. I got that same impression in The World is Dancing, where basically living in a time where food is scarce, war is constant, and people are just looking for something in life to grasp onto, and like entertainment is like one of the few things that they can. And this boy's father is a part of a theater troupe, and his father's one of the premier dancers, and so he is learning under his wing, but he doesn't understand why humans dance. Like there's a moment where he's like, birds have light bones, which allows them to fly. Like that's their genetic, their muscular, their skeletal makeup. Like that's how they can fly. Horses have very thin but yet muscular legs, which is why they're so good at running. Like that's just how they're built. And he's like, humans though aren't built to dance. Like the movements are strange. They're kind of alien like it just that's not what humans are meant to do. But why do people do it? And so he went on this kind of soul search in episode 1, and there's one scene and if I can't convince you enough to go watch it, I'm not talking to you, Frank, specifically, but just those that are listening.
Right.
If I can convince you to go
The
watch
royal you.
if I can convince you, the royals, to go watch the first episode, I would just say there's an iconic moment that left me speechless for a solid like 2 minutes. I just stared and watched in awe, like completely blown away, not only by the animation, which took a drastic shift in such a unique manner. Again, very similar to Elusive Samurai, where they use like all these very different contrasting animation styles for specific scenes. Like they do that to a T in this series in the first episode, at least. But the way that they were still able to tell the story through that almost silent scene is astonishing. It blew me away. So I genuinely think this will be my dark horse for the entire season. I had a couple others that I put on here, like, oh, you got to watch out for this one. This one's going to sneak up on you. I think truly this will be like a top 3 for the season. I
Okay.
100% guarantee. Like the first episode alone is stellar. Like I could have given it a 9. I think 8.5 is fair because realistically the first half is a little slow-ish. I don't think we need to spend so much time on like particular scenes. It's meaningful though. It's got a purpose, again, to
Yeah.
kind of to really illustrate the time period that this is set in. But just this one scene, like again, blew my socks off. So go
Yeah,
watch that. It's
I plan
stellar.
on watching the first episode to form my own opinion. I tried watching it today on my phone. However, for whatever reason, High Dive didn't want to load any of the subtitles, and there were no like options
Yeah,
to change subtitles, turn them on. I don't know what the hell happened. So
it happens to me all the time
I'm
too.
just gonna
I don't know.
I don't know what the hell was going on. So I'll have to figure out if I have to watch it on my computer, I'll watch it on my computer. But yeah, I did plan on watching this. This was one that kind of got away from me. So I'm glad that it's good. I will definitely be watching episode 1 to form my own opinion. So
Yeah.
I'll keep you posted on what I think about it. But good to know.
Yeah.
And then what is your other one?
The other one is Goodbye Lara. I should note both of these were 1 episode watches for me, both full, like hands down. Goodbye Lara.
I didn't think this was on the list.
We kind of wrote it off-ish because we were like, "Oh, this is just a retelling of The
The
Little
Little
Mermaid."
Mermaid.
Yep. And no joke, the first episode is the entirety of The Little Mermaid. And when I say the entirety, I quite literally mean the entire tale of the Little Mermaid is told in this first episode. But the twist that they add is so incredible. Like, because I'm watching it and I'm going, wow, they're really blasting through the Little Mermaid. Like, because I kept looking, I'm like, is this an extended episode? Like, is it
Yeah.
like what are we doing here? And it's no, it's a regular 25-minute episode. So I'm like, wow, like there's 8 minutes left and the Little Mermaid's almost done. Like the story is almost finished. And again, all the characters are the same, right?
Yeah.
Apart from the main mermaid is Lara as opposed to Ariel. Like that's the only difference realistically. But this twist that they add was shocking. Like I was like, I'm so interested now. And I don't want to reveal it simply because I I think it's best to just go in with the impression that this is just a retelling of The Little Mermaid and let yourself be surprised by what transpires at the end of the episode because it did genuinely shock me in a positive way. I'm I'm so excited for this one. However, I'm skeptical that this series could jump a shark, no pun intended, simply because of how the stage was set, and I'm worried that that could make it just fall off a cliff. I am
Yeah.
still on the glass half full side in that what they've already created is sufficient enough to carry through an entire season. It's more so how they're able to deliver it each and every episode and make it entertaining is the question. So, but like again, seriously, go watch it. It's it is really good. I was floored by how much I enjoyed this first episode.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that you watched it to begin with just because we both wrote it off. Like,
It's
did it just pop up on the main page and you're like, you
s-
know what, I'll give it a
so
shot?
it's funny that you mentioned that because I was laying on my couch last night and I just went to live chart again. I do that from time to time where I'm like, I know there's series that I'm watching. There's too many to remember. What am I watching? And I'm scrolling through and I'm like, all right, watch you, you're next, blah, blah, blah. And I'd pass by Goodbye Lara and I was like, oh yeah, we talked about this one. This was the mermaid one. And then I looked on Crunchyroll and I'm like, I mean, it's right there. I'm like, yeah, let's watch it. Why not? Uh, and it was just one of those moments where I'm like, man, I'm so glad stars aligned and pushed me to go watch it because like otherwise I probably would have just passed it up again
Yeah.
and I would have had to found out later like, "Oh, have you guys seen Goodbye Laura?" And it's like, all the spoilers are already out and I'm like, "Fuck." No, it's lost its charm. So I'm glad I got to see it
Good.
and yeah, it's again, I'm not going to spoil it. I hope no one else spoils it for you cuz truly genuinely this is like a very very unique interesting way to tell this story that makes it feel fresh and again very appealing. I think this is again one of those ones where it could creep up into a top 5, but we'll see how everything unfolds as the season progresses.
Fair enough. So we've got three left. Just because you talked about your kind of favorites, I'll start at the bottom and hope that it's not your last favorite. Kaiju Girl I don't know how you pronounce it. Is it
Caramelise.
Caramelise? I gave this a 9 out of 10. I said, what an incredible first episode. Rom com with a hilarious twist to the point where I was laughing essentially all episode long at the different gags. I need more of this now. Um, I honestly, truly, I thought that this was the best rom-com that's of the season so far. I know that I still need to watch You and I Are Polar Opposites when the dub comes out. I know that I really liked a couple others, but like in all honesty, this one just made me laugh incredibly hard
Mhm.
to the point where it's just like, yeah, no, this is fully gotten me. It's gotten my attention. Sign me up. So yeah, I don't want to talk about like what the show is about just for the fact that it's just like there's I don't want to give away like the twist. I mean, granted you'll see it coming, but like it's so fucking funny and the comedy bits before that big moment happens were really funny as well. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I really this one really spoke to me. I really freaking loved it. It was
I
really good.
No, I enjoyed it a lot as well. In fact, I started off my notes by just saying love, love, love this new series. Um, I actually, funny enough, I wouldn't really, in my mind, I don't categorize this as a rom com, more so just like like a fantasy style romance almost because of the kaiju element. It shouldn't be a surprise to any with the name Kaiju Girl Caramelise of what might
Why?
happen. Also, the fact that I think the title card and the trailer kind of reveal it as well. But I digress.
Yeah.
No, but I second everything you said. The characters are very lovable. I love the mom. She's honestly number one star. She's the MVP so far of everything, along with
Yeah.
What the fuck is the
She's
dog's name? King Punch, King Jam,
oh,
King
fuck,
Jumbo, Jumbo King,
I yeah, something like that,
whatever.
or just Jumbo or something like
He's
that.
fun too. Um, but no, I like it. The thing I appreciated the most about this is the first episode as well is that we get like a nice little foreshadow uh in a extremely subtle, somewhat inconspicuous way too. In two different scenes, albeit like mind you. So love that. But no, I think the you get these two polarizing characters put together. You get your supernatural fantasy element to it as well. I adore this. This is definitely going to be like the lovey-dovey series for me. I know everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, you talking about you and I polar opposites?" Yeah, but it's different. That one I go in for like pure joy and and comedy. This is gonna be like the what do we know about how do I interpret love and what is that going to do to my body? Will it make me into a giant monster? Uh-oh, how do we get around that? Like it's totally different. But no, this is high
Yeah,
on my list. This is a full watch as well. I really really enjoyed the first episode.
agreed. Second episode's already out. I've already watched it. It's fucking phenomenal.
I saw a clip.
I'm
I had a clip ruined for me and I'm like, "Damn it."
I am smitten with this show. This show is fucking great. So yeah, there's that. And then really the other two shows are kind of a toss up for one and two, but for the sake of it, I'm gonna go with Sparks of Tomorrow for my number two.
I thought that would have been
I
your
gave
one.
Yeah, I gave this a 9.5. I kind of alluded to this, like how generally not my cup of tea, but this one actually spoke to me. I said absolutely zero expectations for the fact that we didn't have this on our watch list at all. We wrote
It's
this
true.
off
It's true.
we wrote this off when we were doing our season preview, and I was just left incredibly floored. It's an incredible display of art, storytelling, and world building in one episode. Everything about this parallel universe felt set, lived in, and primed for the largest technological change to take place. I think that this show was masterfully crafted in the sense that they did a lot with less is more, in sense of like they did not have to explain everything, but you kind of see things that happen in the background and understand that like this is the type of world we live in. You don't like I think that their use of technology and in the sense of fact that they're still living in a steam world, I think that the kind of steampunk, not necessarily steampunk vibes, but like the different things that they did with technology and tweaked it to where it was not quite what we would remember steampunk, like steampunk to be, or what these steam inventions would be, and just tweaked it just ever so slightly that it really felt lived in. It felt like natural,
Mhm.
and honestly, the quality of animation just reminded me like it felt like I was watching a movie. I think that this was probably
Yeah.
the best set of animation outside of our number one show in this entire season. The only reason I watch it is because when I went looking for Thunder 3, this appeared on the front page because I'd watched Chain Smoking Cat, did a few others, and then I went back to find Thunder 3 on Netflix and then saw this on the title page or like, the front home page. And I was like, you know what? I'll come back to this if I have time. And I'm so glad I did because they did so much in one episode. And granted, they didn't describe everything or, have to explain everything, but it plopped you in a world that felt real despite the fact that there are differences, and it felt so right and it was so good, and the story that they told in the sense of, you know well, I'm not gonna ruin the story because the story I think is the best part,
Yeah, yeah.
but where they start the story and then end up what they end up telling for the main character, and then where they end episode 1, I think was incredible, and to the point where it's like this was between this and Ghost in the Shell, like, it was very difficult to pick which one was my favorite for the season so far, but this is definitely up there. I'm full watching this. I'm thoroughly invested.
I was in the same boat as you where I would finish watching Chainsmoker Cat and it popped up and I was like, "Oh yeah, we talked about this. Looks interesting enough. You know what? I'm here. I might as well watch it." And I don't regret watching it either. I'm not gonna say much more than what you've already said. I honestly, I think the appeal to it is the premise of this alternate reality, right, where Steam has taken over. I think all of the characters except for one very specific character um are fantastic. I'm sure I'm gonna get around to this
I
other
even think that
character.
one character is I think
Oh,
he's fantastic as well.
I think they're fantastic in a different way. I think
Okay.
fantastic. I would describe them maybe using different words to characterize them, but you could still consider them to be a
Well
fantastic
written.
character.
They're very well written,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they've got clear priorities, they've got clear
yeah,
motivations. Like, I think that, like, I can see kind of where they're going with his character and, like,
yeah, yeah,
in
yeah,
his background and, just where his motivations will take him. Like, it's gonna be a battle for the technological age, and he's
yeah.
trying to be at the forefront of it.
But
So it's yeah,
I think the one thing that everyone's going to talk about, and I think hopefully more people focus on the story because I think that is the true appeal to this series. But
agreed.
undoubtedly, though, the animation is, to your point, like movie quality. It's stunning. Um,
Yeah.
I think it's I don't want to end up being a glass half empty person now, but I have my skepticism on whether or not people will end up watching it simply because it's on Netflix and it's not heavily advertised, right? It's like people are going to see Sparks of Tomorrow. They're going to see like steampunky, like industrial revolution type setting and like, eh, right?
But
It's,
Tyler,
it's,
don't you know that Netflix is the number 1 platform to watch anime on?
anyway, but your number one isn't even on Crunchyroll or Netflix. It's on good old
No, it's
Amazon
not.
Prime. And
Yes,
that
it is.
is the Ghost in the Shell. So I'll be honest with you. I am somewhat shocked that this is your number one. I don't think it's surprising though. At the end of the day, uh, simply because I know you just made a comment on it that Science Zero, great job, fantastic job. But we're finally getting the Ghost in the Shell, the true adaptation from the source material.
Yeah.
Like prior to this, we had all these like very edgy, very 90s style, like, gotta be cool, gotta be unique, gotta be a little, like, class what's the word I'm trying to look for? Like, kinda on the edge. There's a term. It's too late, my brain's starting to slow down. But it needed to have, like, that shock appeal, right? Like, I remember watching the
Yeah.
original movie on, uh, Toonami when it would air at times, and I'm like, "Whoa, they can show this type of stuff? Whoa, this is
Yes.
crazy." And I was like, "Oh my god, this is so cool." I'm like, "I don't know what's going on." There's this thing called ghosts, and they're like kind of police but not, and like they do like crazy missions and stuff, and it's all futuristic, and oh my god, it's so cool. And then you see this version of the Ghost in the Shell, and you're like, "This is kind of goofy looking. What the hell? What's going on?" It's like Dragon Ball type esque character design. Then you're like, "Oh, this is what the series is supposed to look like." It's not supposed to
Yep.
look like the Akira, like, crazy animation style.
Semi-realistic.
Yeah, exactly. It's supposed to look like this very
Yeah.
kinda cartoonish style. But I like that. It adds to the appeal. But, yeah, I mean, Science Zero knocked it out of the park with that adaptation. My only comment I'll leave is that the first episode felt like many other anime from the '90s. Chaotic, messy, but really entertaining. Like, if you have no idea about Ghost in the Shell, like this is your first introduction to the Ghost in the Shell, there's so many terms and so much happens in the first episode that you're just like, it's like
Yeah.
Clockwork Orange style. You're like, you feel like you're strapped to the chair, just like, oh, oh, like involuntarily having to just ingest all of that information. You're just like, oh, it's overflowing in my brain. Even as someone that had watched it like sporadically when it like way back in the day, I'm like, what in the hell is happening again? And I was like, oh, I can't remember, put the pieces together. I kind of understand it. Um, but that added to the entertainment value. I think this is one of those series where like I almost appreciate not knowing everything. Like I'm like, make up words, make up stuff, like say all these different terms and do all these different things like the audience knows what's happening. And I'm like, I don't really know, but at least
Yeah.
you're fun to watch, at least you're entertaining. Like truly I didn't come into this thinking that there's going to be such a grand story because not to be that person, a lot of the anime series that have come out from original source material back in like the 90s and 80s didn't really have the greatest stories. They truly
No.
didn't. They were just like, what fucking chaos mess can I conjure up and put into some semblance of a coherent, tale.
Story.
Yeah, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, we kind of got there with this. So, no, I'm excited. Again, it's one of those nostalgic bomb ones. I attribute it very much to like the Ranma one half, the Urusei Yatsura, a lot of these ones that are getting that revitalization. But now we get a true like one for one to the manga, which again gives it more appeal and makes me even more excited to watch it.
Yeah. No. So my notes here are 9.5. Incredible first episode that made me have hope for sci-fi again. And I'll put an asterisk here because I sent these notes to a buddy and he was like, you should specify that you have hope for anime sci-fi again. And I'm like,
Not
buddy,
sci-
this is an anime podcast. But regardless, context he is correct. Context is everything. So
hmm
this made me have hope for anime sci-fi again because I will say real TV shows outside of anime, Apple TV does a wonderful job of getting a bunch of sci-fi series and adapting them wonderfully.
hmm
So if you want more actual sci-fi, go to Apple. But in the terms of anime, it made me have more hope for sci-fi again. It's very reminiscent of the 80s, 90s sci-fi with great sound effects, gratuitous violence, and awesome tech. Granted, it's not really future tech now if we're talking about the 2020s, but like still the future tech is really freaking sweet. And again, I said sound effects, everything like feels so different. It feels so alien, but it does feel grounded, and I absolutely love it. And
yeah.
again, yeah, you touched upon it. The only complaint I have is the pacing was fucking breakneck for the first 5
Oh,
minutes. It was almost like going to the movie theater to watch JJK the first 2 episodes or whatever, and having to
oh,
read all that text
of the calling
really
game.
fucking quick. Yeah, the calling game just really freaking
Rules
quick.
of the
So it's like,
calling game. Brrr, did
yeah,
you read it? Good.
did you get all that? Good.
Time to
But no,
dive
like
in.
I had to pause multiple times just to read it, and also it didn't help that Amazon Prime subtitles are pretty shit.
Yeah, they're kind of
They're
dog.
not they're not the greatest. So
No,
that really is my only complaint here. Otherwise,
I
yeah, absolutely incredible. I think
yeah.
that this we're in for a treat. I'm looking forward to more of
A-
this, but
And I think the nice thing
man,
too is
I
that again, as I mentioned, even if you haven't watched the Ghost in the Shell or you've never even heard of the Ghost in the Shell, you can go into it with the mindset of like, ooh, this is kind of a nostalgia bomb for the 90s because everything is very much like a throwback to that time period. Because again, this is a one for one from the manga. As far as I'm aware, as far as what I've read, as far as what I've come to understand, it's a one for one to the manga, which is wonderful. So it's again, I attribute it very much to like the Rama one half, the Urusei Yatsura, like where if you didn't watch it when it came out, you get to watch it now with a nice little polish. It feels like that, but it's even more so refreshing because it's like an entirely new story, we'll say. But we are finally getting the manga adaptation for what it is.
the proper
Yes, the
adaptation.
proper
Correct.
adaptation. Correct. Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
and I'm here for it. I think everything about it so far or thus far has been absolutely
Mhm.
wonderful. So
Yeah, agreed.
really looking forward to it. I was really hoping that episode 2 would come out today because episode 1 came out last Monday. So, but looking at livechart.me, it comes out tomorrow. So,
Darn.
gotta wait an extra. As of recording, it'll be out. But for us
Yeah, yeah.
recording on Monday, this episode 2 will be out on Tuesday. But yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to this season. There's a lot on my plate here that I'm really enjoying.
Yeah.
As for what I'll be watching, even more if things get dubs. I already know that the circus show has a dub. I've watched the second episode, and I think that it's just as brilliant as the first one. I'm really happy about that one. But yeah, no, surprisingly happy with Sparks of Tomorrow, Ghost in the Shell, Kaiju Girl, Caramelize, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Caramelize.
Caramelize.
Yeah.
But yeah, this season is really looking up. There are a bunch
And
of duds at the bottom too, but like this season is really looking up.
and we
So
should note too that as of recording, the Elusive Samurai season 2 has not started. Bleach Thousand Year Blood War has not started. And we are still getting the remainder of ReZero season 4. So
yes, but
like
that's not for another like 30 days.
no, I know, but like within the summer season, we are getting the ending of season 4 for ReZero. So like while it had started in spring, like it's wrapping up now. So I think it's safe to say summer season is just by and far going to be the strongest season we've had in quite some time. From
Especially this year, because last summer season, I remember being particularly just kind
very
of like
mediocre.
very, very off to the wayside. There were maybe like
Yeah.
one or two really good shows, but outside of those, it was just like, I can
Yeah.
skip this.
It's so funny
But
now
yeah,
because as an adult in the summer, I'm as a kid, you're like, ah, the last thing I
let's
want to
go
do is
outside and play.
the
Let's go to the
last
pool.
thing
Let's
I
go
want to
do
do
this.
is be inside and watch stuff. And like you're like, that's for the winter. And now as an adult, I'm like, fuck, all I want to do
Save
is
me from
be
the sun.
inside, AC on. I pay for
Yeah,
this. I don't have to have my parents yell at me when I turn the AC down. I get to control it now, and I'm watching anime too. Yeah. So it's good that we
yeah,
have a solid season to get us through these sweltering days. It's gonna be 97 by me tomorrow. Yuck.
yeah. It'll be in the 80s and raining all week for me.
I'd
So
take that
that
in a heartbeat
humidity
right
will
now.
put it in. The humidity will put it in the hundreds, so it is
Hooray.
what it is. But thank you all for joining us this week. This and last week have been particularly long episodes. We do greatly appreciate you if you stuck around this long for us.
So what? We
Uh,
watch a lot of anime. You got a problem with that?
yeah, I would hope to say that like if we have similar interests, you can take my critiques to heart as to what I really enjoyed and what I didn't, and hopefully that you watch some of the things that we talked about today that you may not have that you may have written off or you may not have heard of because there's a lot of great stuff out there. But
Mm-hmm.
again, thank you all for joining us this week. We will be back next week with a brand new episode. But if you want more of us, please go follow us on social media at Baka&Co Podcast, wherever you get your social media feeds. I've been Frankfurter. That has been Magically Average. Have a great night. Until next time, Spark Triumph. We'll see you then.